quick update on the car. I did put the Holley high ram on it, so I didn't really do a video on that. I mean, it's just kind of an intake swap. There's not really much to talk about. Take it off. It just comes with the little studs. Put it on, and a lot of the harness. I actually like the harness better now because I was able to do a lot of the harness underneath. So you can see like this harness goes underneath back into there. So it looks pretty good. And the fittings are a little bit tough to get to on the back. I just used like some NPT barb fittings and then got the map sensor and everything hooked up there. So got that thing on. I was going to take it to the track on Friday. So I like rushed through everything, did like a real quick alignment on it. And I took it for a drive and I started having issues with it overheating and my fan wasn't turning on. So I ended up just being real simple. It was just the fuse that was too small when I did the fuse panel thing, so the fan fuse, and there was like a 20 amp and the initial startup current drop blew the fuse, but I thought it was like something wired wrong, so I spent a little bit too much time troubleshooting that and just making sure everything was good. So everything is working on the car. I might try to take it to the track on Thursday of this week, Thursday or Friday again, so take a little bit more time to do like an actual better alignment. And I'm also having like a weird, whenever I hit bumps, it's like a knocking sound and I can feel it in the steering wheel ever since I raised the front end up that like couple inches. So it wasn't doing that when the front end was really low, but then it was hitting the trailer when I was pulling it on the trailer. So I raised it up and now it's been doing that knocking. So I'm going to try to figure that out. But today, because I'm getting sick of working on this thing for a little bit, we're going to work on the Ranger a little bit. So I got to take this turbo. It's got to come out because I'm referencing, I'm kind of referencing center of the turbo on this line right here-ish. I think that's what I want to do. So this one's going to come out a little bit and it's got to go down and back. So it's got to come out a ½ inch, down a ½ inch, back a ½ inch. So I do have the V-bands now because these are all V-band inlet. So I do have the V-bands and everything for that now. So I'm going to start going through and getting this stuff mounted and then maybe even start working on the intercooler piping and stuff today. Okay, so I think I finally got both turbos in mounted where I want them to be. So it took a little bit because I already had the pipes kind of made. So it took a lot of cutting and welding and extending, but I'm going to wrap all that stuff. So if we look at the center point of the turbo based on this little guy right here, they look pretty good. Now if we come over to this side, center point looks pretty good, and then from this angle measuring right about 5 inches, and on this here measuring right about 5 inches, so should be pretty good. I did end up raising this one up, kind of brought this one down, kicked it over a little bit, which should end up working pretty nice because the V-band here is actually below this brake line now, and that was kind of one of my concerns, was getting this thing low enough so I could do the downpipe below this brake line. All the other stuff can be moved pretty easily, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to go through and finish weld all these and then we'll come back. Okay, so got the intercooler in kind of where I want it. I did cut this whole bottom section out and there's like another vertical piece that was in here. I did cut this stuff out. I couldn't remember why I didn't cut it out originally because I was always struggling with it to get it in from the top with the old intercooler. And this time I decided to just cut it out, but then as soon as I did, I remembered why, because that's actually the hole that mounts the bottom of the grill on to these little clips there. But I'll be happier with this anyways because it's a lot easier to work on and it does still have 4 mounting points here, and I could easily just like weld a tab in or something and make a bracket for the grill if I needed to. So now what I'm going to start doing is dicking this bracket out, and then I got to cut some room for the top and bottom intercooler pipe. So basically I'm going to have one in, one out on each side. So like this turbo will come in, and then the other one will come in on the bottom, and then I'm going to loop them back around into like a merge, 2 2.5 to 3 inch merge into the intake. So that's the brainchild. Okay, so you can see I have one pipe in, and that's coming down from the turbo over there. I basically just took 2 of the 90s I don't know how I can show this, but basically just went down this way, welded two pieces together. I basically just want to try to do as much welding as I can with the pieces that I have. Instead of having multiple couplers, I basically just want to have a coupler on each end of the pipe. So you can see I did do a lot of trimming here on the headlight housing, and I didn't actually modify anything that holds the headlight on. I tried to keep as much of that as I could, and then I cut out these big sections here. You can kind of see where I cut everything out, and now I can sneak it through. And if you remember from before, I had this big bracket here, so I basically just trimmed this bracket off, and that opened up a lot of space there. So I still have the support that I need from just that one top section, but now I'm just going to continue to keep building the pipes. Okay, so what we have here is one of the 180 pieces that comes with the kit. So what I'm essentially going to do is I'm going to turn this into a merge. So this is basically, we'll try that again. This is basically going to come up from this side, and then the other one is going to come up from this side, and then I'm going to merge them into one 3-inch piece. I'll grab this guy out of here, and this might freak you guys out, but I'm going to do a little bit of math. So what I want to do is I want to cut a section out and merge and weld this together with a 3-inch opening on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the diameter of the inlet, so 3 inches, multiplied by pi. So diameter times pi, 3.14, gives you your circumference all the way around. So that's going to give you your circumference around the 3-inch diameter. So that comes out to 9.42, and then I'm going to divide that by 2, and it comes out to 4.71. So what I have here is 2 pieces of tape that are measured out to 4.71. I'm going to cut them off at that length, and then I'm going to tape them on to the outer edge here, and the remainder, it will be shorter. The remainder is what I'm going to cut off. So I'll cut that section off, open this up, weld it together, and then I should have a 3-inch opening right here. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so what I have now is the tape on there, and essentially each one looks like this. So I'm basically just going to mark and then cut perpendicular to this section, right? So it goes straight here. I'm going to cut perpendicular straight back, chop that whole section out. These will essentially overlap then, and we'll be able to make the 3-inch hole. Okay guys, so we got that thing all buttoned up now, and it's all welded in there all the way around, and it's in kind of mounted. So I was hoping that this would be long enough to get the 90-degree coupler on, but I think what I'm going to do is probably chop this off, and then I'll just weld all the way down until I can get a straight fitting on it. But I'll try to make it, keep it all symmetrical. That was kind of the idea behind this, because we're doing the symmetrical turbos and symmetrical intake. So now I'm going to work on getting the bottom, this one, that one, just going to keep working. But I like how that turned out. Okay, so I think we have a finished product here. I still have to do like the bead rolling and simple stuff, put the clamps on, but we do have the VS Racing mirror image 6762s in there with the eBay intercooler. So it's just the EMUSA or EMUSA intercooler. I got this, I won this actually used, it was not used, but like not new, auction. I won it for like $33 on eBay. So can't really go wrong with that, so I'm gonna try it. So here's what the piping looks like. Like I said, I do have to do the clamps. I didn't actually weld as I said I was going to, because I was able to figure out most of it with just using clamps. So that one comes down around the bottom side. This one comes up on this side. So we go down, over, underneath, and then this side goes underneath. They cross underneath there. And then up and in. You guys get the idea. But that's all in there now. I'll finish the clamps, and then next we can start working on, I gotta put the wastegates on there, so I'm gonna figure out how I want to do the wastegates. I did buy another 60 mil wastegate So the thing's kind of a monster. I don't really like the look of the wastegates. I like the look of the 44 mils better, but I already had one from what I used before. So I got another one. If I don't like how they look or they take up too much space down here or they're kind of ugly, I might just get a different kind and get rid of them. So sometimes it's easier to just cut your losses. I'm gonna do that, and then after that it's like fuel system, hook the fuel system back up. I gotta do downpipes, obviously. And this is gonna be a little bit tricky, but what I'm happy about on this one is I got this low enough to clear this brake line right there. So I should be able to go straight through here. Once I clean up some wiring, I can probably snake it around this brake line here. And I'm gonna be relocating the battery. So that'll be an adventure on that side over there, but it's getting there. Looks kind of sweet.